Amy Schmois, Ithaca, New York, keeper of the goal.
Sydney Hunter, Ellicott City, Maryland, goalkeeper.
Sydney Kovitz, Washington, D.C., midfield.
Catherine Zavis, Winchester, Massachusetts, defender.
Melissa Kearns, Sunrise, Florida, outside back.
Caroline Meyer, Ashburn, Virginia, center mid.
Caroline Coates, Salt Lake City, Utah, outside back. Katie Daugherty, LaGrange, Illinois, forward.
Hannah Lichtenstein, Venice, California, center forward.
Claire O'Brien, Seattle, Washington, forward.
Marin McCoy, Denver, Colorado, forward.
Maddie Cairns, Charleston, South Carolina, forward.
Lauren Savo, San Roger, California, defense.
Sarah Hancock, Collegeville, Pennsylvania, center mid.
Alana Elliott, Monrovia, California, forward.
Brittany Wiederhold, Downingtown, Pennsylvania, forward.
Amanda Carrillo Perez, Chino Hills, California, center back.
Louise Rossler, Columbus, Ohio, outside back.
Justine Albers, Long Beach, California, outside attacker.
Miranda Saldivar, Pasadena, California, center of the middle.
Caroline Kana, Chevy Chase, Maryland, middle of the center. Seneca Kingurza, Manasquan, New Jersey, center mid.
Emma Tapp, La Cañada, California, center back.
Izzy Roncolo, New York, New York, forward.
Summer Dennison, Santa Monica, California, center defender.
Melly Johnson, San Diego, California, forward.
Madeline James, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, defender.
Yasmin Amazi, Los Angeles, California, center back.
Alex Ross, Germantown, Maryland, center mid.
Sierra Stark, Prince George, British Columbia, outside back.
Eleanor Moser, Oakland, California, center forward.
racist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us here on the Garnet Sports Network, the online home of Swarthmore Athletics. We have today here a game, a women's soccer game between Swarthmore and Eastern. Swarthmore comes in ranked 12th in the country after last season's run to the national quarterfinal of the NCAA tournament. And earlier this week, Swarthmore beat Rutgers Camden 3-0 here on Clothier Field, and they look to make it 2-0 here against the visiting Eagles. I'm joined here by Jacob Brady. Old habits die hard, I guess. Jacob Brady, a member of the Swarthmore class of 2020. Jacob, what are your thoughts on today's game?
It's definitely an interesting matchup based on Eastern's first game of the season. They seem to have some amount of trouble with their defense, whereas Swarthmore has been known as a pretty heavily offensive team and a pretty good goal-scoring team. So we'll see whether that goal-scoring ability can come to match up against Eastern here today.
Yeah, definitely. Widener played Eastern earlier this week, and the Pride beat the Eagles 4-3. Pretty high scoring for a soccer game, as Swarthmore has already earned a corner kick. Sarah Hancock will take it off the head of Doherty, but just to the left, and that's a good early chance for Swarthmore. And Swarthmore, no stranger to creating offense early in the game, having scored against Rutgers Camden about 7 minutes into that one. But I think that'll definitely be a matchup that we see, Swarthmore's offense versus maybe the flexibility of Eastern's defense. Swarthmore, one of the top teams last season in both scoring and goals allowed. The Garnet went, I believe, their first 9 or 8 games without conceding a goal. It was the longest streak to open the season from any team in women's soccer in Divisions 1, 2, and 3. And they scored quite a few goals in that time. A lot of lopsided contests early on in the season. See a little more midfield play here now. Possessing it is Cervantes for Eastern. Cervantes off to Courtney Davis on the wing, but the ball a little bit too strong. And taking the throw-in will be Curran, a sophomore defender from Sunrise, Florida. A lot of the focus for Swarthmore's defense will be on number 5, Emily Cole for Eastern. Cole scored 20 goals last season. Nobody else on Eastern had more than 3, and she had 2 goals against Widener earlier this week. She's definitely a focal point for the Eagles, and they'll look to get her involved early. Chasing is Coates on the sideline. Nice move to evade pressure from Galvin, and that looks like a foul. Ball would stay with Swarthmore. It'll be a kick from Zavez. Catherine Zavez is the older sister of Melissa Zavez, a member of the field hockey team, and their other sister, Alexis Zavez, another Swarthmore graduate who played field hockey. Ball to Saldivar, off to Curran. Curran past midfield. Dispossessed. And taking it back is Lichtenstein. Ball loose and out. Possession given to the Garnet. McCoy thought about taking the throw-in, gives it off to Curran. McCoy, one of the best young players in the country. Last season, as a freshman, she set the single-season program scoring record with, I believe, 40 points last year. And she was a second-team All-American at forward, looking to repeat the success of that season and maybe even build on it. Another All-American on the field for Swarthmore, number 21, Caroline Kana, a midfielder out of Chevy Chase, Maryland. Hancock with a long shot. Playing it is Rollins, but I don't think that would have gone in if she didn't touch it. Looked pretty wide to me. But I guess she wanted to test the goalie early. Maybe she coughs up a rebound. Maybe she lets in an easy goal, and they can sort of keep that pressure going. Doherty, Lichtenstein, off to Coates. Coates threading the needle there a little bit. And going out is Coates to take the throw-in. We got a lot of action here on Clothier Field today. Earlier this afternoon, the Swarthmore field hockey team picked up their first win of the season with a 4-0 shutout of Virginia Wesleyan. Also here on the Garnet Sports Network, we'll have action from the men's soccer Garnet Alumni Classic. Swarthmore will be taking on Albright, and Rosemont and SUNY Geneseo will also be playing this weekend. So stick here on the Garnet Sports Network for all your favorite Swarthmore sports teams. Kana rather. Kana stepping through traffic, try to get it off to McCoy in the middle. Ball cleared, but not yet away from danger. In the midfield was, I believe, Imperator, number 18. Cole swarmed by Saldivar. And Saldivar, a very tenacious player. She's only 5'1", but she plays with a lot of heart and a lot of tenacity. I believe she was a second-team all-conference member for the Garnet last year. That was a high shot by Courtney Davis for the Eagles. In goal to start the game for the Garnet is 00, Sydney Hunter. One of the big question marks for the Garnet entering the season was their goaltending situation. After graduating the sensational keeper Reba McGear, who is now a member of the Swarthmore coaching staff. Swarthmore came into the season without a goalie who had a start under her belt, so we'll probably see some time from Hunter, and maybe we'll see some time from Amy Schmoys in the game against Rutgers Camden. Coach Ankaitis opted to use both of them, splitting halves. But in that game, neither keeper was really tested by the Scarlet Raptors. We may see more of a test from Eastern today. Ball taken by Doherty. A little bit careless by Eastern there. Doherty can't quite keep possession, but a great job by her to create a little bit of offensive momentum for Swarthmore. Ball out on Vainink. Lichtenstein. Curran. Kana. Back to Curran, up to Lichtenstein. Tries to play McCoy in, but no run was forthcoming, and it will be a goal kick from Adriana Rollins.
And already we've been seeing a lot of good offensive pressure from Swarthmore, I'd say. They've been keeping possession in the Eastern's half of the field and just making sure that their defense is on their toes and just trying to keep up the pressure, and they've been doing that very effectively so far.
And I think that even though, they have no shots on goal to show for it in the first 10 minutes, I think you're absolutely right. That pressure will sort of wear a team down as the game continues, and they're going to get some better looks. Good job by Liechtenstein. Despite the jersey pull and some physicality from Cervantes, she stays with the ball. And yeah, Swarthmore will continue, if they can continue to generate this pressure. You know, we've already seen Eastern be a little careless on defense, a little tired, and that's going to translate into some really good looks as the game goes on. Liechtenstein trying to find Hancock, and she does. Hancock staying on her feet. That's number 10, Zoe Galvin. Liechtenstein with it. Saldivar. Curran up the wing. Trying to find McCoy. No such luck. And playing it out is Courtney Davis. And Curran will take the throw. Swarthmore just has so many different ways that they can attack you. They have a player like Caroline Kana, who's great distributing from the midfield. They have Katie Doherty, who has a ton of speed. Marin McCoy, she's 5'9", very sort of difficult to kind of take off the ball. Hannah Liechtenstein, who we've already seen, a very tenacious player. So up front, the Garnet boast a really good attack, and then they also have scoring options on the bench. So if you can limit one player, that's not necessarily good enough to sort of keep Swarthmore off the board. Zavez to Curran. I believe Swarthmore had maybe 17 different players score a goal last season. I don't know if that's quite right, but a lot of scoring options for the Garnet nonetheless. Might have even been more than 17. Kana, nice. Looking for McCoy, but the run comes up a little late. But Curran gets it back. McCoy to Kana. Kana to Saldivar. Liechtenstein. Curran, Kana, Liechtenstein. Looking to play a ball in. Run is made by Doherty, but headed back to Rollins to safety. Doherty very quick. Just trying to generate a little bit of pressure on Rollins. Make her think twice the next time she goes to get a ball, and maybe she makes a mistake and translates to an easy goal. Doherty. Good cut by Doherty. Finding Kana. And that'll be a goal kick for Eastern. In other Swarthmore College action, the volleyball team is competing at the Rowan Labor Day Invitational this weekend. The Garnet started out yesterday 1-1 after losing to Eastern and beating Rowan. The Garnet ahead 2-0 over Emmanuel College. Swarthmore took the first set 25-11 and took the second 25-16, but now trail 12-7 in the third. They will finish up competition there against Widener this afternoon. Long ball played to Cole. She has Zavez marking her shot from Cole right into the hands of Hunter. And that was a good job by Zavez to slow down Cole, force her into a pretty manageable shot from Hunter that went right in the breadbasket. Foul on Cole after driving her shoulder into Hancock. She has some words with the ref. And it'll be a kick from Catherine Zavez. Coates out on the wing to Hancock. Back to Namazi. Namazi did not start last year, but she's been inserted into the starting lineup in, I believe, one of those center back positions. I believe Zavez. Zavez last year played primarily on the wing, but she's been moved over to the center with the graduation of Amanda Bosworth and Emily Telford Marks, as Coates and Curran are on the wings. Coates also didn't start last year, but has been moved into that role by Coach Ankaitis. Liechtenstein with it. Good move by Liechtenstein. Played ahead to McCoy. McCoy has speed, settles for a shot right into the hands of Adriana Rollins. Ball skirts the sidelines and goes out past Nicole Vainink. Swarthmore will remain at home for their next game on Tuesday at 7 p.m. against the Scranton Royals. That game will also be broadcast on the Garnet Sports Network. You can follow our live stats by going to www.swarthmoreathletics.com. There should be a live stats link. And the Royals, usually a pretty competitive team in the Landmark Conference. They haven't won the conference in the past few years, but always, right at or near the top, competing with the Catholic University of America. Ball from Curran off the head of the Eastern defender, loose, played to Saldivar. Tries to play McCoy ahead. McCoy recovers, gets it, keeps it in. Good run by McCoy, and she earns the throw-in on the near sideline. And that'll be a corner kick taken by Sarah Hancock. Kana in the box, McCoy just outside, and Liechtenstein. Ball's played, headed out by Eastern. Saldivar dishes it back to Hancock, but out, and throw-in awarded to Eastern. Just about 1/3 of this first half is gone, 29 minutes remaining in the period. Swarthmore looking to be in control for the most part. Collision, ball is loose. Played out, Swarthmore throw-in. McCoy looking for Liechtenstein. A little bit of miscommunication as the ball floats over her head. Saldivar with the throw. Correction, that'll be Courtney Davis of Eastern with the throw. Ball with Hancock now. Off the side to Coates. Coates stays with it. Still with Coates. Coates plays Doherty ahead. Doherty on the wing, looking maybe to cross it in. Slows play down a little bit. Goes one-on-one with the defender. Ball out for a goal kick. Lichtenstein playing it ahead for Doherty. Doherty wins the foot race, but Rollins clears it out. Lichtenstein shot Lichtenstein high and goal by Hannah Lichtenstein. A little bit sloppy there from Rollins. Not a great clearance. Did what she could to get it out of danger, but what a sensational ball from Lichtenstein to just lift it over the head of Adriana Rollins.
Yeah, it seemed like a rather rushed clearance on the part of Rollins, just trying to get it out from the oncoming Doherty, and ended up playing it straight to Lichtenstein, and it was a pretty easy goal from her.
Yeah, that is not going to get many more goals easier than that necessarily. But great finish by Lichtenstein. And that was sort of the pressure that we were talking about earlier. If you send someone to sort of kind of make a run at a ball, even though it seems like the goalkeeper has it, you know, you create that doubt in the back of their mind. You maybe rush them to do something that they're not comfortable with, and it creates those situations where a goalkeeper, Roland's a sophomore, maybe a little more inexperienced, not used to being in that situation, kind of does something careless, and it leads to an easy goal for the Garnet.
Exactly. There's definitely a pretty strong psychological factor involved. You know, Swarthmore definitely has a lot of very talented offensive players, and getting them all rushing in, I guess, can put you under pressure that you're not used to or not perhaps prepared for.
So now Swarthmore is ahead 1-0 with about 20 minutes gone in this first half. I'm sure the Garnet are not content with a 1-goal lead. They'll probably look to capitalize on this, put some more pressure, make that a 2 or 3 goal lead. And then I would imagine they'd probably open up the bench, get some freshmen some playing time, maybe try out a different goalkeeper. Of course, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but Swarthmore definitely not a team content to play with just a 1-goal lead and then sort of park the bus. Great job by Hancock to stay on her feet and earn the foul call there. And a corner is given to Swarthmore. Taking at the far sideline will be Hancock. Hancock is a junior out of Collegeville, Pennsylvania. I believe this is her first year starting for the Garnet. She was a key substitute last year. Ball high, played in, and off the side of the netting for a goal kick. Pretty windy day out here on Clothier Field. Not quite as bad as it was during the field hockey game, but definitely a lot of wind, maybe 15 to 16 miles per hour. I believe the storm will miss us, though. Not going to get hit by a lot of rain this weekend, luckily. The wind doesn't look like it's affected conditions too much so far, but it may pick up as the afternoon continues. Namazi does well to shield the ball and earn the throw-in for the Garnet. Taken by Curran. Hancock with momentum. Hancock to McCoy on the left wing. McCoy cutting back into the middle with the ball. McCoy still with it. Shot from McCoy goes high and left. I expected maybe a pass off to the wing, maybe to Coates, who looked like she was making a run, but McCoy decided to take it herself for the shot, and it sails a little high and wide. And the Garnet will make their first substitution of the afternoon, bringing in number 13, Lauren Savo, a freshman from Sierra Madre, California, coming in for number 5, Melissa Curran. McCoy with it. McCoy chased by 2 defenders, cuts back. Doherty gets a touch on it. Ball with spin, but saved by Rollins. Good run by Doherty. Got a nice piece of it, but not enough to beat Rollins. It looks like she just kind of glanced it on the side of her foot, creating that kind of side spin. But a good run nonetheless from Katie Doherty. Coates steps in front of that ball. Caroline Coates to McCoy. McCoy trying to find Lichtenstein. Ball cleared. Throw-in is to Coates. Savo in the middle of the field. Savo looking for an option. Finds the Eastern defender. Chavez. Off to Coates. Coates also a member of the Swarthmore College track and field team, sprinting the 200 and 400 for the Garnet. And she'll take the throw-in on the far sideline. McCoy with the throw into the head of Lichtenstein, plays it back to Kana. Kana still with it. Ball with Lichtenstein now after it's loose for a few seconds. Dispossessing her was Courtney Davis. Davis turns it over to Hancock. Ball blocked. Looking for a run there, but no one really making it as Sydney Hunter will scoop it up and distribute to Namazi. Nice little flip from Lichtenstein off the wing to Savo. Savo playing it ahead to McCoy, and the offside whistle blows. That would have been a beautiful highlight reel play, starting with that flick from Lichtenstein, but the official's flag went up, and it's an offside on the Garnet.
That's a very nice pass from the wing up into the middle, but just couldn't manage to stay behind the line in defense.
And that has been, I wouldn't say a problem for the Garnet in the last few seasons, but a definite trend getting called for offsides. I guess when you have sort of a high-pressured offensive attack and you're looking to get balls and kind of run into space, then you're going to kind of test that a little bit. And there'll be a substitution.
That is Katie Lowry, a midfielder, sophomore from Huntington, New York, coming in for Lydia Peachy.
That'll be a substitution for Eastern. And I believe that'll also be a corner kick for the Eagles, their first of the game. It'll be taken by Courtney Davis. In volleyball action, Swarthmore beats Emmanuel. Ball in, headed wide by Ashley Zemeski, but grabbed by Hunter. Was not going to be on net. I believe it would have just gone to the left of the post. And the Garnet improving to 2-1 on the season with that win over Emmanuel at the Rowan Labor Day Invite. Back to soccer action here. Eastern finding themselves in familiar territory in their own defensive end, coughing up the ball. Saldivar will take the throw-in. Eastern still kind of careless with the ball, so deep in their defensive end. McCoy to the foot of Liechtenstein. Davis trying to find a run. Coming up is Hunter. Almost colliding with her was Emily Cole. The Garnet looked like they're warming up a couple substitutes over on the sideline. Just about 15 minutes remaining in this first half. McCoy. Doherty knocked over, no foul called. Coming in for the Garnet will be 3 substitutes. Number 26, a senior, Mele Johnson. Number 10, a junior, Claire O'Brien. And another junior, number 24, Izzy Bronco Lowe. I believe Johnson and O'Brien usually play in a forward position, and Bronco Lowe tends to play midfield, but I could be incorrect. And Eastern also looking to make a substitution, bringing in number 4, Caroline Losey from Bel Air, Maryland. Probably the sister of number 1, Leah Losey, also from Bel Air, Maryland, or related in some way. Cole now. Cole gets it off to a running Nicole Vainink, but not a tough shot for Hunter to handle, and easily saved.
Entering the game for Eastern, number 4, Caroline Losey. And then for Swarthmore, number 10, Claire O'Brien. Number 24, Izzy Bronco Lowe. And number 26, Mele Johnson.
Getting a break for the Garnet will be their attacking trio, Katie Doherty, Hannah Liechtenstein, and Marin McCoy. They've worked pretty hard so far in this game. Put a goal on the board, and now Bronco Lowe trying to find O'Brien. O'Brien pass, I believe, intended for Bronco Lowe, just a little ahead of her. Goal kick from Rollins. L.A. Johnson trying to find Bronco low. Johnson had an assist in the game against Rutgers Camden, played a nice deep ball to a running Marin McCoy in that 3-0 win for the Garnet. Chavez to Coates. Coates can't find a teammate with the ball, but O'Brien gets it back, gives it back to Coates. Too strong and into the hands of the waiting Rollins. Both teams looking to make a substitution. Coming in for Eastern will be number 22, Marissa Ianelli. And for the Garnet, number 6, Caroline Meyer. She replaces number 21, Caroline Kana. Namazi. Johnson. Good job by Saldivar, and she's pushed over by Katie Laurie. Definite foul there. And Namazi will restart with a kick. Meyer. Cole with it now for the Eagles. Cole challenging Chavez. Nice job by Chavez to block that shot. Get the ball ahead to Meyer now. Ball still loose. Stays in bounds, but the referee blows his whistle and the ball is awarded to the Garnet. So there's not a big discrepancy in the shots on goal. Swarthmore with 3, Eastern with 2. But the stats can be misleading, as Swarthmore has definitely generated a lot more scoring opportunities and threatening chances than the Eagles have so far. Most of Eastern's shots have been pretty soft on target. Offside called against Swarthmore. Second one this afternoon. Ball finds the head of Cole, bounces around, returns to Cole. Cole pressured by 2 defenders. Long shot, bounces in front of Hunter, and she corrals it. That's the 3rd shot of the afternoon and the 3rd save for Hunter. Ball is loose. O'Brien making a run, tries to get it to Johnson. Not cleared away from danger yet. Johnson to Bronco low. Little strong for Meyer. Meyer looking perhaps to maybe hit a cross in, and that'll be a goal kick for the Eagles. Substitution for Swarthmore, bringing in a freshman from Washington, D.C., number 2, Sydney Kovitz. She'll come in for number 7, Caroline Coates.
And entering the game for Eastern, number 12, Carly Sitkowski.
And for the Eagles, it'll be number 12, Carly Sitkowski, entering the game. Foul called, ball stays with Swarthmore. If you're thinking that there's something a little unusual happening, don't adjust your television. Swarthmore is usually on the bench to the left and not to the right. I'm not sure if they're doing something different just for today or for this season, but not usually accustomed to seeing Swarthmore on this side of the field. It could probably be due to the wind. I'm not sure what the motivation is. Cole with it now. Cole trying to play it ahead. Too strong. Throw-in will be taken by Savo. Savo to Johnson. Johnson to Bronco low. Offside called. Pretty easy call to make. No disputes there. And that'll be the third of the afternoon. Bronco low looked like she was sort of even unaware that the ball was going to be played ahead to her. Had her head down, kind of surprised when the ball came to her. Be another substitution for Eastern. Coming in, can't quite see the number, is number 6, Emma Daly. Coming in for number 19, Nicole Vainink. In college soccer, unlike, say, the Premier League or the World Cup, you are not limited to 3 substitutions for the match. I don't believe that there are unlimited substitutions if a player leaves the game in a half. I don't know if they're allowed to come in the same half, but there's no limit on the number of new players you can bring in to a game. Hancock taking the throw to Johnson. Saldivar drops it off to Zavez. To Namazi in the middle. Namazi to Saldivar. Back to Savo. To Bronco low. Ball cleared out by Eastern. Two and a half minutes remaining in the first half here at Clothier Field as Swarthmore leads 1-0 over the Eastern Eagles. As I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Swarthmore ranked 12th in the country and definitely a favorite to win the Centennial Conference. They finished first in the preseason poll earlier this fall, beating out Johns Hopkins by just a point, but still the favorite nonetheless. Saldivar looking for O'Brien, can't find her. Ball ping-pongs around a little bit and given to the Eagles. Namazi. 1 minute remaining here in the first half. Savo to Hancock. We haven't seen as much offensive pressure since McCoy, Lichtenstein, and Doherty and Kana left the game. But as I say that, a ball played ahead to Claire O'Brien. Great ball. And she gets past the keeper but can't get the finishing touch. Great opportunity nonetheless. And I believe, was that Namazi who played that ball ahead to O'Brien? That was a phenomenal pass from the sophomore defender.
And it appeared the keeper from Eastern did just enough to get her hand on it and make sure that it was off to the side and there was no good opportunity to score there for O'Brien.
3, 2, 1, 0.
And the horn sounds as the first half ends here on a blustery day at Clothier Field. Swarthmore College leading Eastern 1-0 off that chip goal by Hannah Lichtenstein after a shaky clearance attempt from the Eastern keeper, Adriana Rollins. We are going to have a 15-minute halftime break, but before we send it to a break, Jacob, any thoughts about what you saw in the first half? Things that both teams did well, something that Eastern maybe needs to work on in the second half?
I think Swarthmore was doing a very good job of keeping the offensive pressure going, and that's just something they have to maintain through. Definitely with that high-powered up-front trio of Doherty, Lichtenstein, and McCoy, they have some great goal scorers, and they just have to keep that momentum going and make sure that they're just keeping it in there and in the offensive end. Eastern never really seemed to get a good rhythm going once they were in Swarthmore's defensive end. They had, you know, a couple times where there was a defensive breakdown, but no serious challenges to Swarthmore's defense. So they just have to, if they want to get back into this game and have a shot at winning, they're going to have to get the pressure on, find a good rhythm, and get those shots in when they count.
And I think I'll add too, maybe there's a little bit of carelessness from the Eastern defense on some of the clearances. They haven't been totally committed, or they've been a little bit sloppy with the ball, so that's something they might look to clean up a little bit. We'll be back for the second half here for women's soccer action at Clothier Field on the Garnet Sports Network.
Centennial Conference is about balance. We want the students to become the best they can be in the classroom, the best they can be in their athletic pursuits, and our colleges do everything we can to enhance that. You're going to feel the exact same things that you would feel as a Division I or Division II athlete in the Centennial Conference. You're going to feel the heart racing. Your teammates are going to be cheering you on. You're going to be in that huddle, firing each other up, getting ready for the opening tip or the first kickoff. All of this is what we look for and we hope that our students get to achieve in the conference. You look at the rivalries in our conference, and these schools have competed against each other for over a century. To be able to turn them over to talented faculty and talented coaches to bring out what we all know is there, that athletic ability, that ability to achieve in the classroom, the ability to achieve in the lab. The community that we build within the Centennial Conference is truly special. We have 11 schools that are competing at everything they do. They're competing for the best faculty, they're competing for the best students, they're putting together the best facilities. There are 43 conferences, and I feel that the Centennial Conference is at the top of Division III.
1, 2, 3.
On the field of competition, you're going to be a starter, you're going to be a key reserve. You may be an all-conference player, you may be an all-American player. In the classroom, you are going to achieve great things. You could be on the dean's list. You could receive a departmental award. You could receive the college's highest prize when all is said and done. It's the ability to provide that kind of balance to allow a student to achieve in both ends, which makes the Centennial Conference remarkable. Together, we are driven.
1, 2, 3.
To motivate. To challenge. To lead. Every practice. Every play. Every day. Every season. 11 schools together in competition. We are the Centennial Conference.
Welcome back to the Garnet Sports Network for women's soccer action between Eastern and Swarthmore. Swarthmore ahead 1-0 after a goal by Hannah Lichtenstein. There was a failed clearance from Eastern's goalie, and Lichtenstein got it, I think, maybe at the corner of the box, and just had a nice chip over the head of Adriana Rowlands. Swarthmore definitely looked in control in that first half, owning possession, having the ball in their own offensive part of the field. The shots on goal are equal, but the ones that Eastern put on net were very pretty easy to deal with and very non-threatening. Any other highlights or takeaways from the first half?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, as you said, in terms of the shots not showing everything, and definitely we saw a lot of Swarthmore runs and chances that might not have ended up being shots on goal. I know we saw one that was a solo run into the box. I believe it was by O'Brien right at the end of the half, which ended up being just tipped away at the moment as O'Brien was running with it by the goalie, just doing enough to keep it away. So there have definitely been, again, as you said, a lot of chances for Swarthmore that the scoreboard doesn't really show.
And I think Swarthmore will probably continue to get those chances, and we'll see those reflected more on the scoreboard as either shots on goal or hopefully goals for the Garnet. Second half getting underway. Swarthmore and Eastern switch sides. And also new for Swarthmore in goal is number 0, a sophomore from Ithaca, New York, Amy Schmoys. This is what the Garnet did against Rutgers Camden, splitting time between their keepers. As I said earlier in the broadcast, neither of them had a career start going into this season. Ball ahead for Doherty, too strong. So the coaching staff is probably feeling out, seeing how both of them do in game-like situations, and seeing if one of them will eventually earn the starting nod for the rest of the season, or it's possible that they go with a two-keeper system for the year.
And they've definitely both been solid in goal so far, holding a shutout through this first game and a half and change for the season. So we'll see if, some sort of gap opens up between them, or if they manage to maintain this consistency in goal for the next couple games.
And also on the field for the first time, I believe, is number 22, a freshman, Seneca Kin-Gurzo from New Jersey. Shot by McCoy, save. Great job by Rowlands. And the Garnet generating early pressure. We're barely a minute and a half into this half already. A great shot on goal from the Garnet. Coates. Savo didn't start the game, but is coming out to start the second half. She makes a run on the sideline, gets to the ball first to Lichtenstein. Ball played back to Yasmin Namazi. Coates. Zavez. Namazi. Savo to Kin-Gurzo. Ball looking for Doherty. Throw out will be taken by Katie Doherty. Lichtenstein to Kana. Kana still with it, looking for someone in the middle, no one home. Eastern breathing a sigh of relief. On the counterattack now, Namazi tips it out. Throw-in taken by number 19, Vainik. Cole, shot by Cole, sails high and wide. Emily Cole, the primary goal scorer for Eastern, has 2 goals this year already and scored 20 last season for the Eagles. Cole is number 5 on the field.
She does seem to have been pretty quiet so far, not seeming to have been able to get much possession, and certainly not many opportunities opening up for her yet.
The Garnet defense has done a very good job, I think, limiting her and limiting her runs and her ability to sort of get the ball in space and get those opportunities. You're absolutely right. And I think that's one of the big reasons they're ahead.
Though it does appear that Swarthmore has changed up their formation a little bit. They started the first half in 4-3-3, more or less, playing with 4 defenders and then 3 midfielders and 3 forwards. And they seem to have translated a little bit into more 3-4-3 now, perhaps trying to generate more offensive pressure with Savo and Savo primarily coming up as a wing back a lot of the time.
And that shot from Liechtenstein sails just above the crossbar, testing Rollins, seeing if she can sneak it underneath the crossbar, but just sails a little bit high. Hancock on the wing, headed out, and that will be a corner kick as it goes off the head of number 18, Alex Imperator. Taking the corner kick will be Hancock. Ball high, headed by McCoy and well wide of the goal. Swarthmore with a pretty deep bench has 31 players on the roster this season. I believe I had 33 or 34 the previous year. So a lot of depth for the Garnet, a lot of bodies available off the bench. Throw-in will be taken by Zemeski. Finds Cole, off of Cole. Battling Arcana and Peachy. Kick from Zemeski finds just past Coates. Throw-in will be taken by Caroline Coates. Kingurzo. McCoy still with it. Marin McCoy off to Doherty on the right wing. Looking for someone in the middle, maybe McCoy. Kana, Kingurzo, flipped over to Hancock, too far ahead though. And that will be dumped out of bounds by Imperator. That almost looked like she touched it when she was out of bounds. And the referee rules she did. Not sure why she played the ball that deep out of bounds. A little bit of a questionable decision, and it leads to a Swarthmore corner. Play a short pass off to McCoy, back to Hancock. Ball in from Hancock, still loose. Looks like it was tipped out by a Swarthmore player. Rollins will take the goal kick. That header shot was credited to Namazi, number 28. Cantanes back to Imperator, back to Cantanes. Zava is clearing it away from Cole. Throw in for Eastern. Handball, I believe it hit off the elbow of Kana. And that'll be a kick for Eastern. It'll be taken by Courtney Davis, who's now conferencing with head coach Dan Mao on the sidelines.
And this may end up being the first real chance for Eastern in this game if they can manage to curl it in.
Ball ahead, runners grabbed by Schmoys. Good job by Schmoys to just come out and take it from danger. Looked like there was a bit of a collision in front of that. Some bodies on the ground in front of her. Everybody gets back up nicely. Doherty to Hancock. Hancock off to McCoy. Marin McCoy, so fast and hard to dispossess off the ball. Gets knocked off the ball. But she wins a corner for her efforts. Marin McCoy, a three-sport athlete in high school, playing volleyball, basketball, and soccer. Made an immediate impact for the Garnet last season. Named the Centennial Conference Rookie of the Year and a first-team All-Conference member, in addition to a second-team All-American. Header from Liechtenstein. Looks like Kana tried to get a second-effort header, but it bounced just over her. Looked like she was trying to go for a little flick past the keeper, but not quite. Kana to Liechtenstein. Kana sticking with it, but ball cleared past midfield. Namazi to Coates to Kin Gurzo. Swarthmore moving the ball pretty well. Doherty with a nice building up speed, but out on Swarthmore. Throw-in will be taken from Zemeski. McCoy with a move to evade her defender. Shot McCoy. Save. That's a tough angle to score from, but good shot from Marin McCoy. Liechtenstein to McCoy, looking for Hancock. Savo. Little give and go. Savo to Coates. To Doherty. Nice move by Doherty. Back to Zavez to Kana. Lichtenstein back to Kana. Nice try by Kana to stay with the ball. Unable to. Off the wing to Davis. Good job by Savo. Cole. Zavez hounding Cole. Good job by Zavez to take the ball without committing a foul. She plays it ahead to McCoy. McCoy on the left wing. Doherty making a run. Too strong, but it goes to a little bit too. And that horn will bring in Caroline Meyer for number 14, Sarah Hancock. Kana. Still with Kana. Kana jumping over a defender's outstretched foot. Tackle made from Bomberger. And that will be a corner for the Garnet. Good individual effort by Kana to stay with the ball, evade defenders, and earn a corner. And a chance at a second goal for Swarthmore. Ball played in by Meyer, headed away. Ball. Lichtenstein fighting. Now with Coates. Eastern with possession. Off to Davis. Peachy. Galvin. But the Garnet reestablish control. As I say that, they turn the ball over. Ball given up around midfield. And that'll be a throw-in for the Garnet taken by number 13, a freshman, Lauren Savo. Cole with it from Imperator. Cole against Zavez. We've seen Zavez do a really good job marking Emily Cole. Zavez, not the tallest player, but a very strong defender. Number 16, Alexa Musser, and number 22, Marissa Ianelli, come in for Eastern.
Entering the game for Eastern, number 16, Alexa Musser, and number 22, Marissa Ianelli.
Not sure if that was a shot by Cole or she was trying to play it in for number 9, Peachy, but the result will be a throw-in for the Garnet. Zavez to Coates. Ball is with Eastern. Kana. Savo knocked off the ball. That's a foul by Eastern. Looks like she got banged on the knee, but gets up quickly. And And Namazi will restart with the kick.
You can see the ball rolling out there as this wind starts to gust up a little bit, which may start to become a factor a little bit in some of these longer balls and shots.
Yeah, you can see on that right corner flag how far the wind is pushing, almost tipping it over, but a very blustery day here out on Clothier Field. As you've noticed, if you can tell from the broadcast, there's not a lot of tree cover for the field. There are some trees, but not a lot to really block the wind on a day like today. Good job by Doherty to take Eastern defender off the ball. Still with Doherty. Good second effort by Musser to recover. And the foul's called on Doherty. She raises her arms in protest, but the referee's mind is made up. Savo. Now with Swarthmore, throw-in will be taken by Coates. And 2 balls in the field to play. A little bit of miscommunication from our ball chaser. Lichtenstein trying to play it ahead for McCoy a little too much and into the arms of Rollins. About 24 minutes remaining here in the second half. Swarthmore holding on to a 1-goal lead. I'm sure they'd like to make it 2 or more. Kana, ball too far ahead, out for a goal kick. We're going to see 2 subs for Eastern. Be number 10, Zoe Galvin, and number 15, Katie Laurie. They'll replace number 9, Lydia Peachy, and it looks like number
10, Zoe Galvin, and number 15, Katie Laurie.
27, Sia Contanis. A little bit of pushing there, but no foul called. Doherty to Lichtenstein. Lichtenstein to Kin Gurzo. Great job. Flips it ahead to McCoy. McCoy shot over the keeper. Goal by Marin McCoy. Great pass from number 22, Seneca Kin Gurzo. And that's 2-0 Swarthmore. That is McCoy's second goal of the season. She scored one earlier this week against Rutgers Camden. And I believe that assist is the first points of Kin Gurzo's collegiate career. So congratulations to her. And that horn will take out Doherty, Lichtenstein, and McCoy. And it'll bring in Melee Johnson and number 15, Alana Elliott, and number 16, Brittany Widerhold. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Widerhold scored against Rutgers Camden with a nice display of speed on a breakaway. So very quick player to watch out for the Garnet.
Now, I haven't been keeping exact count, but somewhere around the 18th or 19th player that the Garnet have put in at this point, which really speaks to their depth, and including freshmen, just how much faith the coach has in the freshmen, and really speaks to the quality and the depth overall of the team, which could be a good sign and perhaps a later postseason push.
Definitely, and it's great to see. I think early on in the season, freshmen getting in. If it does nothing else, it kind of shows you, how comfortable they feel in a kind of higher stakes atmosphere. And with that horn, Kovitz will come back into the game. And coming in for the first time this afternoon, I believe, will be number 23, Emma Tapp. You get to see kind of how the first-year players deal with the pressure of college. Everybody's a little bit better. Everyone's a little faster. Everyone tends to be a little bit stronger. That shot off balance from Melee Johnson right into Adriana Rollins, and it gets them that experience under the belt, and it definitely prepares them, for situations down the line when they might be called on to come in a high-stakes situation. And I think these early non-conference games are definitely a good way to do that, especially when you have, a 2 or 3 goal lead.
And some of them have certainly had success already.
Shot by Kana, save. Sorry to interrupt you. That was a nice shot by Kana, but good job by Rollins to get a hand on it. And Kana is tripped up. Easy call for the official to make. So, sorry, before I interrupted, you were saying about the freshmen and their level of success already.
Right, well, in terms of in the past game, Widerhold scoring the first goal of her collegiate career, so she's already off to a good start, it seems.
And we've seen a lot of freshmen, certainly Savo, one of the first players off the bench for the Garnet. Johnson with the play, and that's a goal from Kin Gurzo. Speaking of freshmen, Senecan Kin Gurzo having quite an eventful last couple of minutes, assisting on that goal by McCoy and scoring one of her own off that deep kick from Johnson. That makes it 3-0 for the Garnet, and that will also bring in a couple more substitutes for Swarthmore. Kana will come out, and number 29, Alex Frost, will come in to take her place. So that's 3 points in this game for Kin Gurzo with a goal and an assist. And what was that? Probably about, 7-8 minutes? Not very long.
Maybe less.
Yeah. And just like that, a game that Eastern felt, maybe we get a goal, we tie it up, we're right back in it. And now looking increasingly dire for the Eagle as Widerhold showing off that speed. Loses the ball, but good run from the freshman from nearby Downingtown, Pennsylvania. That's one thing that definitely sticks out when you look at Swarthmore's roster. There are a couple local players like Brittany Widerhold or Sarah Hancock, who's from Collegeville, but a lot of players from geographically diverse areas. We've got New York, DC, Florida, Utah, Washington, British Columbia, a whole host of players from California, North Carolina, Maryland. So the Garnet really recruiting talent from all across the country, and I think it's really translated to on-field success for the Garnet, and under Coach Todd Ankaitis, Swarthmore finding the best athletes and the brightest students from every corner of not only the United States but the whole world. Ball played ahead a little too far for Widerhold, and that'll be a restart from Rollins. Kovitz to Meyer. Sorry, I'm learning these players, their names and numbers a little bit. Back to Schmoys. Schmoys to Tapp off of Eastern, and that'll be a throw for Savo. And And looking at the field, I believe that Melee Johnson is the only upperclassman, for the Garnet. She's a senior, but two other forwards are both freshmen. Meyer, a sophomore, and I think everybody else with the exception of Schmoys. Oh, excuse me, Catherine Zavez is a senior. But a lot of youth on the field for the Garnet at this moment. Zavez has played the whole game so far, I believe. I don't think she's been taken out once for Swarthmore. She'll be a crucial linchpin on that back line, expected to anchor the unit for the Garnet. Kovitz still with Kovitz. Back to Kin Gurzo. Swarthmore has 15 minutes separating itself from its second win of the season. In volleyball action, Swarthmore leads Widener Swarthmore leads 1-0 over Widener after taking the first set 25-22. But the Garnet trail 7-1 in set number 2. And Zavez finally comes off the field, and that'll bring in a sophomore, number 17, Amanda Carrillo-Perez.
And she's had an excellent afternoon, a very dogged defender, has a lot of good takeaways, and not the biggest, but possibly one of the best on the team.
Zavez, definitely, I think deserves a lot of credit. Not only her, the whole defense does, but limiting Emily Cole. There was one time in the first half, and probably other instances too, where she just challenged Cole, a bigger player, and just took the ball away. And that is just on the fingertips of Rollins. That ball didn't look like it was from a difficult, it was shot from a difficult angle. Didn't expect it to be toward net, but getting her fingertips on it was Rollins, and that'll be a corner taken by Johnson. Johnson's ball in, headed from Carrillo-Perez, headed again by, I believe, Meyer. That'll be a foul on Swarthmore. Ball played back to Schmoys. Schmoys looking for Kovitz. Off target. Haven't seen too many challenges for Schmoys this half. I don't know if Eastern's registered a shot on goal in this period. I don't believe they have, because they are still at 3. Swarthmore with 8 shots on goal in this half, if I'm not mistaken. Carrillo-Perez. Ball bouncing around, still loose. Cole. Ball played in, cleared out by Savo. Cole with the ball. And that's a shot. Nice point blank save by Schmoys. Another save by Schmoys. And I said that she wasn't tested, but boy, she was tested there, and she came up big with 2 quick saves to preserve the shutout. Great job by Schmoys to make the initial stop, and then the stop off the rebound when she was on the ground. Widerhold looking for Johnson off the foot of Zemeski. 15, that is Alana Elliott. Johnson with a cannon. Definitely not afraid to shoot, and she does. Not sure that would have gone in, even if the goalie weren't there. Looked at the, it was off the post. Could have probably been off the post, but not playing it safe is Rollins. Off of Kingurzo, that will bring in substitutes for Eastern. Be number 6, Emma Daly, and number 24, Amy Radcliffe. I imagine Eastern is also using this opportunity to bring in some freshmen and some other players off the bench to see how they are in game situations and kind of give them a feel for collegiate soccer. Now that the result of this game is pretty well decided at that point, or at least in my opinion. Wider hold. Elliott. Ball with Eastern. Spin move by Sitkowski to evade the defender. Ball played in. Nobody there as the ball goes across the face of the net. Keeping it in is number 19, Vining. Johnson pushed off the ball, no foul called. Ball stays with Eastern. Johnson recovers, but tips it out of bounds. A couple substitutions for Swarthmore. O'Brien and Summer Dennison will come in, and entering for Eastern will be number 47, Alyssa Simpkins. Not a number you see very often in soccer, that is number 47, but I guess there are no rules that dictate that.
Into the game for Eastern, number 47, Alyssa Simpkins. And in for Swarthmore, number 10, Claire O'Brien, and number 25, Summer Dennison.
Carrillo Perez to Kovitz. Looking and making a run is Alana Elliott, coming out to clear it away as Rollins. And that'll be a deep throw in for Swarthmore. Good job by Rollins to come out and clear that away from the oncoming Elliott. Meyer flicks it off to Kovitz, rather. Turning his wider hold, shot wider hold well high over the netting behind the goal. Goal kick for Eastern. And Rollins opting not to take it, but instead it was taken by, looks like number 4, Caroline Losey. Ball ahead, making a run is O'Brien, but cutting her off is Zemeski, and she'll dump it out. Throw in for Kovitz. 8:45 remaining here. Swarthmore leading 3-0 after winning by an identical score on Thursday against Rutgers Camden here at Clothier Field. Swarthmore will stay at home for their next game, which will be against Scranton on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday. That'll be here live on the Garnet Sports Network. And then next weekend, Swarthmore will travel, I believe, playing at Rutgers Newark, a neutral tournament with games against Shenandoah and Frostburg State. Looks like Swarthmore's done making substitutions this afternoon. I think pretty much everyone's gotten into the game with the exception of injuries and for the most part, not everyone, but Swarthmore definitely showing off its depth. Ball played back to Kovitz. And a little bit of miscommunication. Kovitz not expecting to get the ball back from Frost. Throw in for Eastern, headed out by Meyer. After this will be a neutral men's soccer game, I believe between Rosemont and SUNY Geneseo. The opening game of the Garnet Alumni Classic, and then later tonight, Swarthmore will open its season against Albright. That will also be broadcast here live on the Garnet Sports Network. Good cutback. Ball with Swarthmore now. Not a lot of urgency really for either team as this game is, well, as I say that, Kovitz making a strong run on the right flank. Looking to make a cross, play the ball into the box. Going at a defender one-on-one. Ball is bouncing toward Carrillo Perez. High ball off the head of Eastern. And it'll be a throw for Kovitz. Substitution for Eastern as they bring in their bench players. Brooke Meckley, number 11, will come in, as will number 37, Kelly Dykeman, both freshmen.
Entering the game for Eastern, number 11, Brooke Meckley, and number 37, Kelly Dykeman.
Five minutes left here. Frost off to Kovitz. Kovitz sprinting, keeps the ball in. Sydney Kovitz plays it, looking for someone in the middle, no luck. Bounces around, finds Dennison. Shot by Dennison, just wide of the net. Great run by Kovitz to keep it in play and then get the ball into the middle.
There's definitely been a lot of chances like that, and I guess the key is just going to be working on making sure it finds the back of the net in those situations.
And that shot by Kovitz curls wide of the net. So this game is also almost not identical, but very similar to the game against Rutgers Camden, where Swarthmore held a 1-0 lead going into halftime and then scored twice in the second with one of those goals coming from a freshman to kind of put the game out of reach. It's followed a similar formula these first two games, and Swarthmore definitely not complaining. If it means a 3-0 win, I'm sure the Garnet and Coach Yankaitis will take that every time. Eastern with it. That is Contanis. Simpkins. Thrown will come from Kovitz. Savo can't quite control it. Frost flicked up by Sitkowski, but coming out is Schmoys to end the danger. Ball is flicked ahead, but no one there to run on it. Schmoys will boot it to midfield. And Losey tries to play it to the wing, too strong, and Swarthmore will throw it in. Carrillo Perez to Dennison. Big ball. Running and headed out, and that'll be a corner with 1 minute remaining. So this could be Swarthmore's last chance to put another one on the board. About 50 seconds ticking down as a junior, Claire O'Brien, will take the kick. Ball up. Off of Carrillo Perez's head, but not toward goal. Not quite cleared. And throw in will go to O'Brien. 27 seconds now. O'Brien in for Dennison. Loose ball off to Carrillo Perez. 15 seconds remaining. Played ahead to Meyer. No offside called. Meyer gets it to the middle. Shot wide from number 15. I believe that was Alana Elliott. And that will go down in the books as a 3-0 victory for the Swarthmore Garnet over Eastern. Swarthmore improves to 2-0 as Eastern falls to 0-2 with the loss. Definitely a one-sided game. Sort of all Swarthmore on offense. Eastern had that one moment in the second half where they got two shots on goal in quick succession, but other than that, not a lot of promising opportunities. Credit to the Swarthmore goaltenders and credit to the Swarthmore defense and midfield for really limiting those opportunities. And you know, we saw how it's hard to beat a team like Swarthmore if you score. You know, one goal might not be enough if you can get it when you have players like Hannah Lichtenstein, Marin McCoy, and Katie Doherty. Any final thoughts for us, Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a very solid win for Swarthmore today. They had a lot of real good aspects about them. Obviously, goaltending, you know, these were two sophomores that came in never with a collegiate start, and they've both been very poised. Schmoys had those two great saves, one of them while lying down. Hunter had a couple nice saves, you know, nothing particularly challenging, but in both cases, they've just looked very calm and very poised and very prepared for everything. Obviously, I'm not going to complain about a 3-0 win, but I definitely do think there's some things to work on, especially with finishing. There were a lot of nice chances that were taken from the wing, and that ended up, you know, being played wide, being misstruck in some way. You know, perhaps this is a team that could be winning 6-0, 7-0 if they manage to convert those chances. So, I mean, definitely they're doing well. This is a great team, but I think that definitely working on those few things and tweaking it a little bit could help them with their production. Definitely it seemed that moving from the 4-3-3 formation to the 3-4-3 in the second half certainly helped for them. It helped create some chances. So I think that's definitely something that the coach will want to continue in the future and keep looking at new ways maybe that they can tweak it a little bit and just keep up that offensive production and that goal scoring that has been real good so far.
And I think that'll definitely be something we see in a lot in these early season non-conference game when maybe the stakes aren't quite as high. Still, every game is important, but with the conference game, you're playing for seed and the right to host, and that can make a big difference come tournament time. So we'll probably see in games like this when Swarthmore has a several goal lead. As more players come off the bench, as maybe they try a couple different looks, and they'll tighten those things up as the season progresses. Still a lot to like if you're a Swarthmore fan in that 3-0 win. And thank you for joining us here on the Garnet Sports Network. Women's soccer will play again on Tuesday against Scranton. That'll be at 7 p.m. here on the Garnet Sports Network. Don't miss it. And thanks again for tuning in. Have a great evening.